All right, let's talk about something that trips up almost every Python programmer at some point: dates and times. You know the feeling, right? It's a total headache. Well, today, we're going to turn that frustration into a superpower. We're going to master the two key functions that act like translators between how computers see time and how we see time. So let's dive in. So, what is it about dates and times in programming that's just so confusing? I mean, it feels like it should be easy, right? But if you've ever tried to pull a date from a log file, or deal with API data, or even just handle a user's birthday, you know it's anything but. It's almost like they speak a totally different language. And you know what? In a way, they actually do. And this right here, this is the core of the whole problem. On one side, you've got the computer's perspective, a perfectly structured, logical datetime object. And on the other side, you've got how we read it. Just a simple string of text, like August 27th, 2025. The entire game is just about translating between these two worlds. Okay, so the good news is Python doesn't leave us hanging. It gives us two essential translators to bridge this gap. The first one is formatting. Think of this as taking that computer object and making it look pretty and readable for us humans. And the second one is parsing, which does the exact opposite. It takes our human-friendly string and turns it back into an object the computer can actually understand and work with.
All right, let's meet our first translator, the one that speaks our language. This is the strtime method. And that name is a great hint. Just think of it as string format time. Its entire job is to take Python's internal time object and shape it into literally any text format you can dream up.
So how does it actually work? Well, it's pretty straightforward. You just take your datetime object and you call the strftime method right on it. The only thing you have to give it is a special string of format codes. Seriously, just think of that format string as a blueprint that tells Python exactly how you want the final text to look. And these format codes, this is where the real magic happens. They're like little Lego blocks for time. You've got %y for the full year, %m for the month number, %d for the day. But you can get way more descriptive. Use %a to get the full name of the weekday, or %b for the full month name. You just mix and match these little codes to build exactly the string you need. Okay, enough theory, let's see this thing in action. So we'll grab the current time. In that first example, we're using our format codes to build a classic day, month, year format with the time. Pretty standard stuff. But then in the second line, we're going for something way more human-friendly, using those codes for the full weekday and month names. So, what do these two different blueprints actually create?
And boom, here are the results. Will you look at that? It's the exact same original datetime object, but it produces two completely different strings. All we did was change the format string. This just goes to show you have total 100% control over how the final output looks.
All right, let's do one more, this time with a specific date, like a birthday. First up, a simple day/month/year format. Easy. Then, for the second one, let's say we only want the time. And notice the codes here. We're using %i for the 12-hour clock and %p to get that AM or PM. Super useful. And finally, let's create that standard ISO format you see all the time in databases and APIs. And there you have it. 3 totally different formats, all from the exact same starting point. This really shows you how incredibly flexible strftime is. I mean, whatever you need for a user interface, a printed report, a log file, you can build it. Okay, so we've totally nailed translating from computer code to human language. Awesome. But what about going the other way? How do we take a string and make the computer understand it? Well, for that, we need our second translator, strptr. And you can remember this one as string parse time. Now, this function is a huge deal. You are going to use this constantly anytime you're dealing with data from the outside world. I'm talking about dates in a CSV file, a timestamp from an API, anything like that. Its whole job is to take that messy, raw text and convert it into a proper datetime object that you can actually do math with. Okay, now here is the single most important rule for strptime, so listen up. The format string you provide has to perfectly match the input string. I mean, perfectly. If the string uses hyphens, your format code needs hyphens. If the input uses slashes, your code needs slashes. Every single character, every space, every separator has to line up exactly, or Python's just going to throw an error. And just like that, strptime hands us back real, usable datetime objects. We've done it. We've translated plain text into powerful code. And now that we have these objects, we can finally do all the useful stuff, like calculating differences or comparing dates. All right, you ready for a little challenge? Let's put everything we've learned together. Check out this code. First, we're using strptime to parse that string into a datetime object. Then, right away, we use strftime to format that new object and pull out just the full weekday name. So the question is, what's this going to print? Take a second, think it through. And the answer is Friday. If you got that, you're absolutely crushing it. See, this is the real magic right here, combining both methods. We took a simple, dumb string, turned it into a smart, datetime object, and then we used the power of that object to figure out something totally new about it, the day of the week. That's awesome.
That little challenge? That's not just a trick. That right there is the complete workflow you're going to use for pretty much any task involving dates and times.
It really boils down to a super simple 3-step process. Step 1, you parse the incoming string to create a real datetime object. Step 2, you use that object to do your actual work, the math, the comparisons, whatever it is you need to do. And finally, step 3, you format the result back into a nice, clean string for your user to see. Parse, use, format. That's the entire flow.
So why should you care about mastering this little 3-step dance? Because it's not just a neat trick. It unlocks real, practical powers that you need for pretty much any project you'll ever work on.
I mean, just think about what this lets you do now. You can calculate project deadlines with precision. You can figure out the exact hours someone worked for a payroll system. You can sift through massive log files and pull out entries from a specific time range. You can handle literally any date format an API throws at you. The possibilities are, seriously, endless. Okay, so let's boil this all down to the absolute essentials. String time, the F is for format, turns a datetime object into a string for humans. String parse, the P is for parse, turns a string into a datetime object for the computer. Getting comfortable with these two functions is, without a doubt, the key to handling date and time data in the real world. And honestly, that's the whole secret. You now have the keys to the kingdom when it comes to unlocking and controlling date and time data in Python. This is a massive skill to have in your tool belt. So I'll leave you with a question to noodle on. With this new power, what's the very first time-based problem, big or small, that you're going to go out and solve in one of your own projects? And as you go off to build amazing things, just remember what the great B.B. King said. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. You've got this. Now go put it to use. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.